the yes, the bicameral mind theory. The bicameral mind theory is one of those theories which I think is totally wrong, but as Richard Dawkins says, and I know, quoting Richard Dawkins, haha, as Richard Dawkins says, it's one of those theories which is either completely wrong or the most brilliant thing ever. For those who don't know, the theory of the bicameral mind is the idea that human consciousness was experienced at a very in a very different way prior to about 1000 BC. That essentially the mind or the brain is divided into these two halves, and the experience of deliberating on choices was an experience that was novel to about post 1000 BC. And this is used to explain the literary theme of the muses, the muses which dictates Hellenistic poetry. The idea is that at some point in history, this was actually concretely, literally true, that there was no conscious sense of deliberation on choices. Instead, and by the way, I don't believe this for those who are just coming in, instead the idea is that a person would hear a voice in his head and would do exactly what the voice said. It really is a one of those theories which is brilliantly false. But I think one of the pieces of evidence that it's quite clearly false is the fact that so-called uncontacted people groups do not report the experience of a bicameral state of consciousness. And that's not just contemporary ones. There's, as far as I'm aware, no real evidence that any contacted people group experienced bicameralism, as it is understood in this context, experience bicameralism as their mode of consciousness.